this is my Audio Fundamentals Assessment 1 video. So in this assessment we had to write up a plan for a 4-hour long studio session with a band, and we were going to be recording a 3 to 4 minute song. I decided to go for the genre of indie rock / indie pop. It will be in a similar style to the Arctic Monkeys and Two Door Cinema Club. I will be explaining the recording schedule and the choice of microphones, the effects these will have, the placements, and other considerations such as the room and what these effects will have. So here we have a Gantt chart that I came up with, the greys indicating 10 minutes each. So for example, the tuning of the drums and the mic setup will take me 30 minutes in total. This is the signal routing flow that I came up with. It goes from microphone to the cable to the wall box to the patch bay to the preamp to the EQ to the faders to the patch bay to the AD converter and then to the DAW, and then extras just go into the monitors. The room that I chose was the Brighton Electric Live Room 1. We've been studying this room, so I feel like I know it more than anything else. It's about 600 square foot and with a very high ceiling. This can create a very large sound, so I wanted to make sure that if we did want a smaller sound, we could have it, which is why the vocal booth's there, or we could put up screens around, such as like the drum kit. I wanted to start to record the drums first. I gave 10 minutes for the drummer to tune the drums and me to get the microphones gathered and maybe put up in the stands. After this I gave myself 20 minutes to put all the microphones up into positions and get the channels sorted for them. I read in a reference that I used that Matt Helder, the Arctic Monkeys drummer, used a Shure microphone kit whilst recording I Bet You Look Good on Dance Floor, so I sort of wanted to replicate the drums in that. The first drum that I recorded is the Shure the kick drum, with the Shure Beta 52A. I chose this mic because it has a very good capability to deal with low frequencies. I placed it around 2 to 3 inches inside the drum kick. I wanted it to point towards the beater just to get the attack. I didn't want to put it too far into the drum, just in case that can create the low end that I wanted, and not too far away because I wanted the attack. The next drum that I wanted to mic up was the snare. I used 2 Shure SM57s, and I had the first snare pointing down at a 40-degree angle, facing it away from the cymbals to avoid bleed. It will be about half an inch away from the kit, pointing at the middle of the snare. This will hopefully get the darker snare sound that I wanted to replicate in Arctic Monkeys' song Brainstorm. I'll also have another SM57 underneath pointing vertically up to the snare in the aim to capture more of the brighter sounds, just in case the top mic picks up too much dark noise. Next we had the floor and rack toms. I used PGA 56 on both, also having it pointing 45 degrees to the centre of the tom to get the attack. However, I wanted it a bit further, around 1 to 2 inches, about 3 finger width from the top of the tom. It's because I wanted the resonance from hitting the drum, rather than if it was too close it would just be all attack, or if it's too far away it won't be enough attack, and it should be more reverb. So I want to get all sort of in the middle of both, so attack and reverb. These will be in a cardioid pattern, also facing away from the cymbals to avoid any bleed resulting when recording. Next, I also added 2 overhead microphones. This will capture the whole essence of the drum kit and will help stereoize it. I use a Technique space pair and use the Neumann KM184 in the cardioid polar pattern. I made sure to measure these equally from the snare, 1 meter from each, as seen in the diagram below. I chose these pencil condenser mics, as they slightly added a boost around the 9k hertz frequency, and I thought this would definitely capture more clarity in the high ends, which I really wanted to go for. We'd move on to the bass. For this, I gave myself and the bass player 10 minutes to get ready before 40 minutes of recording. I set up a small talkback system so the bassist could hear the drums, follow along. We wanted to use a Shure Beta 52 for this, recording it from an amp. I chose this mic again because of its low frequency response, which we can see in the diagram to the left. I wanted to place this microphone in the middle from the center of the cone and this right on the outside of the cone, just so we can get the make sure we get both of the tones in and the low ends. We also thought it would be a good idea to record through a DI, just so we can get 2 takes at the same time, and then we can also at the end figure out which one we like better the most. The guitar, I gave myself 20 minutes to set up the mics for this, and again 40 minutes for recording. We used a AD30 orange amp, which is famously used by Arctic Monkeys. I used a BIMM Royer 121. I placed this mic so it's facing vertically up, starting from the bottom at the middle of the cone, facing up. This mic, I chose this mic because it has a capability of capturing the whole range of the tone, so really get the low end crit that we want, as well as the mids and highs. Including this, I wanted to use a Shure SM57 to also capture the crisp high ends of the guitars. I placed this just off center, about ½ an inch from the center of the cone, so it'll get more of the high ends, and hopefully when both these are put together it'll have a more wider sound. I decided to record the vocals. I wanted to do the vocals last for 2 main reasons. They'll be able to follow along with the whole song much easier, and I wanted for them to warm up their voice throughout the day, so just speaking to anyone. Otherwise, doing in the morning, their vocals won't be warmed up as much. Give myself 20 minutes to set up the mics and 40 minutes for recording. Because of the large scale of the Brighton live room, we decided to use the vocal booth in the same control room. This is treated and has no sound waves bouncing off, as it's so small and soft walls. So this will ultimately give it a much tighter, closer feel when recording. The mic I wanted to use was the tube condenser Neumann U67 in a cardioid pattern. I chose this over the U87 as it had a lot more mid-range and just crisp quality that I really wanted. However, we did, for the backing vocals, we did actually use the U87 as well to give more of a low end when layering the vocals. I think when these are both put together, it will give a really like well-rounded, full sound that we want when layering vocals. After that, I gave myself 10 minutes pat down, and these are the mics and channel lists that we used.